this trip, I experienced a large amount of anxiety. This was my first mission trip, and I didn't know what to expect. I started filling my mind with expectations that I thought were supposed to happen to me. This caused panic to settle in as I thought about whether or not these expectations would be met. I didn't feel spiritually ready, and I felt that as a team we had not prepared enough for the lesson plans. I almost started crying the Sunday we left because of this anxiety, but then I remembered what my friend had told me the night before. Go to Nicaragua with a clear mind full of zero expectations, and God will take care of the rest. Looking back, I now see that God exceeded anything that I could have expected. Luke 18:16 says, "Let the children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the children of God belongs to such as these." I never quite understood the meaning of this verse until this mission trip. Growing up in a broken family, I never felt truly loved, and I don't think I was ever able to love anyone in return. Therefore, my perception of love was very narrow and biased. But through working with our children in Nicaragua, God showed me what this verse really means, and more importantly, what His love is. These kids are so full of love. After only 4 days of knowing each other, our group of children told us that they loved us. They wrote my partner, Ben, and me letters and drew us pictures of hearts. It took me a while to process all of this, because I didn't understand how or why they could love their teachers after such a short amount of time. That's when I realized that these acts of kindness were really acts of God, revealing to me each day that we were there what real love is. I can honestly say that I love each and every one of our kids in Nicaragua. On the last 2 days of class, I was literally sobbing as we taught our last few lessons. And one time it got so bad that Ben had to take over teaching. I was just so overwhelmed with the thought of never seeing these kids again. These kids, who have nothing in comparison to what we have in America, are so eager to learn. After a whole course load of a normal school day, they still came on their own time to learn English. These kids, some who struggle financially, always arrive with a smile across their faces. These kids, who have ill family members just like us, brought an unmatchable positivity to the classroom that I will never forget. I remember one girl, Kimberlyn, who saved her gummies that Mr. and Mrs. Coco had given her so that she would give them to her grandmother at home. That simple act of kindness touched me, and I realized that I needed to adopt a heart like hers. The kingdom of heaven belongs to eager and loving people like these children, some of which haven't even accepted Christ as their Savior. How can we, people who attend church every Sunday and already have the key to heaven, fill our hearts with envy and animosity rather than love? As I reflected back on what God revealed to me during this week, I saw that I was at fault for living a life that was not led by love. A few days before our team left for Nicaragua, Pastor Eric brought us down to the sanctuary during Living Life to pray about something we needed help with. During that class, I asked God to give me a heart of forgiveness, because without Him, I know that I will never be able to forgive my family. Through meeting these children in Nicaragua, I know that God is slowly but surely answering my prayer. Although I am still human, I am trying to model my heart after these children we met. I strive to have a heart of compassion and joy, because that is exactly what these kids have taught me. One of the praise songs we sang during our trip was "You're Beautiful" by Phil Wickham. Through our stay at Nicaragua, all of us experienced a new level of God's beauty. From waking up at 4 a.m. to watch the sunrise, to driving through the villages of San Benito, God's work overwhelmed us in more ways than one. A simple phrase we used to sing became more than a song, and we were once again reminded of God's wonderful creation. Our Father never fails to reveal just how great He is. I'm truly blessed to have had this experience with Sarah, Justin, Ben, Jessica, Umbi, Enoch, and Grace. Missionary Lee, Mr. Coco, and Mrs. Coco are so incredibly dedicated to living a life of service and sacrifice. I thank God for giving us people like these who selflessly hosted us and guided us throughout our short stay in Nicaragua. In a world where our hopes are continuously oppressed, how blessed are we to have a God who exceeds all expectations.